already know the drill. We back again with another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And strap on your seatbelts, cause it's all pedal to the metal from here. And without further ado, your amazing host, Drew, Billy.
Welcome back to another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys, here with your host, Drew Billy, Trevor Dinsmore, and Nate Stice. Boys, what a week of football. I know we have a lot to touch on. I know there's a lot of people out there want to hear our opinion on certain things. But heartbreaker in Buffalo, I think that's the first one on the list here. I'm going to be drawn out like usual, so one of you boys take the lead here.
Sure. I'll go ahead and start us off. Glad to be back for another episode. Just craziness again in Buffalo. I don't even know if there's the right words to say how sad I am for the fans of Buffalo Bills football. It's just so unfortunate. I think unfortunate's the right word here. So many things went right in the game, but one or two things went wrong, and that was enough to get beat. Patrick Mahomes he gets to the AFC Championship game every year of his career so far for a reason. He's a pretty tough one to beat. I understand that, Tyler Bass missed the kick. Surely that's part of it, but truly what it comes down to me was the defense just didn't show up and didn't get any stops. You know what I mean? They got absolutely destroyed. Their middle linebacking core was incredibly banged up, and that just didn't do them any favors at all. Pacheco had it going, Rice had it going, Mahomes was doing his thing, Kelsey had the best game of the season for himself. So, the Chiefs are a different animal this time of year, and Swifties and Chiefs fans can rejoice. They get to see those folks on TV another week. I know that I'm certainly thrilled about it. Can't wait for it, for another freaking week of this crap. You got to give credit to the Chiefs. To go into that environment with that hostile crowd in those conditions with a fan base like that, good for them. But, it's just the same old song and dance for the Buffalo Bills. They just cannot get it done. And I don't know who deserves the blame. I think it goes all around. I think Diggs not catching one of the – I think that might have been one of the nicest passes I've ever seen in the history of the game, especially one not caught. Diggs should deserve a little bit of, not hate, but should be looked down upon a little bit in that moment. Bass missing a kick, the defense not showing up, McDermott making weird decisions and continually choking in these moments. So, yeah, great football game, though. Don't let me, say this wasn't a good football game. It certainly was. Just not quite the outcome that I was certainly hoping for. So, yeah, I don't know. Going to be a good one in Baltimore. They're hosting their first AFC Championship game since 1971. To put that into perspective, that was the Super Bowl V season when the Ravens of Baltimore were no more than an Edgar Allan Poe poem at the time. And they've certainly become a little bit more than that. The Baltimore Colts were the franchise in Baltimore that hosted that championship game. So hopefully it'll be our Baltimore Ravens that can put these Swifties to bed in terms of football, which I never thought that those words would come out of my mouth, but they're our last hope before we see them in the Super Bowl. So someone's got to knock them off, right?
Right.
I'll say this first, and then I have a comment about Taylor Swift since you brought that person and that fan base up, Nate. I'll touch on that in a second. To see the modern version of wide right made me sick to my stomach. I probably had about this much of a beer left. I didn't feel like finishing it. And it takes a lot for me not to finish a beer. I'll just tell you that much right now. especially, at who I'm rocking here. Takes a lot for me not to finish a beer. I could barely stomach that loss from the Bills. And it's not me rooting necessarily for the Bills. It was me rooting against all the Swifties, the Mahomeses, the Kelseys, and all the rest. My comment on Taylor Swift, I can only hope shirtless Jason Kelsey's in the box with her next week. If that is the case, that'll make up for it a little bit. Although I don't know if he'll have as much of a good time in Baltimore as he did with Bills Mafia up in Buffalo there. But still, good to see Jason in good spirits. Good to see him, supporting his brother who caught 2 touchdowns and just ate that middle linebacker core alive. Like you said, Nate, he ran that banana route like 17 times, it felt like, and it succeeded 3 or 4 times, which is all it needed to do. Yeah, not much else to say. You covered it pretty well. A lot of things went right for the Bills. They had about 2/3 of the time of possession. They ran the ball effectively, both with Allen and with Cook, and hell, even with Ty Johnson and Lat Murray. So they played it the way they had to play it to win the game, and that was take the air out of the ball for Kansas, take the air out of the ball and keep it out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. Problem was defense. As soon as, Buffalo would go down, get a score, it felt like Kansas City, 5 plays later, bing, bang, boom, touchdown, tie game, and all that effort was just a waste of time, and you're back to square one. Yeah, it was a painful defensive performance to watch, and just to kind of back that up too, Buffalo, they gave up just under 10 yards per pass, 9.3 yards per pass, and also 6.1 yards per carry from the likes of Pacheco and even Mahomes, who escaped a couple of times. The Chiefs only faced 5 third downs the whole game.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you said it was a clean game, Nate. No sacks.
Yeah, no sacks either side, right?
No sacks either side. The one turnover was the Mecole Hardman fumble, which I'm very surprised they didn't call back because, the Chiefs get all the calls. I was thinking they probably get too, but
yeah.
No, it ended up not happening. And that was the only turnover of the game. Only 7 combined penalties between the two. I believe the Bills had 5. Chiefs had 2 of those. So ran slightly in the Chiefs' favor, but still very clean, very entertaining game. Not a whole lot going on in terms of controversial calls for once. And thankfully for Josh Allen, well, sort of thankfully for Josh Allen, no overtime. Because, well, as we said, we saw the modern version of wide right. Props to Khalil Shakir, had a big game, 7 for 44, and he had a touchdown. He would have had another touchdown, too, had Chris Jones not bumped Deion Dawkins right into Josh Allen on that second down play on the Bills' last drive there. Khalil Shakir was wide open, and I was wondering why that pass ended up so short until I saw the replay, and I'm like, fuck! Heartbreaker for the Bills. Kansas City on to, I don't know, an umpteenth consecutive AFC Championship game. And down to Baltimore. And to be honest, fellas, I was contemplating who to root for in that game. I want both teams' planes to get broken down, not in midair, just broken down at their respective airports. So we got to cancel the game and just declare the NFC winner the champions. I know that's a long shot. There's no prop for that. That is selfishly what I want.
Yeah. Or the power goes out at the stadium.
Or well, last time the power went out at the stadium, the Ravens won the Super Bowl. So I don't want that to happen either.
I got 2 things I want to add. I believe I saw a stat that Stephon Diggs has double the targets that Shakir has had since Thanksgiving, and Shakir has more yards than Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
That sounds correct. Shakir's been a very big play threat for them.
I didn't elaborate enough on this, but I think we may have seen Stephon Diggs' last game in Buffalo. The salary that he has in his production to end this year, plus some of the antics in off seasons that he's had, seems like the marriage is coming to an end possibly. And I'm going to say one thing. I know I'm not a huge Chiefs fan, but I will certainly be an Isaiah Pacheco fan for a while. This dude, the way that this dude runs the football is absolutely incredible to watch. He runs like he is on fire. He runs so freaking hard, and he adds a completely different dynamic to this Chiefs team. And I've been saying it, I think, for a couple months now. Like, if he gets going in the playoffs, even if they don't have a great receiving core, they could still go a long way. So he truthfully, I think he's the key to this next game for them. If he can run and break off some runs and, get 4 or 5 yards a clip, and they can just manage those couple chunk plays with the receivers and make some stops, going to still be pretty hard to beat them, even if you're Baltimore. But Baltimore doesn't give up yards on the ground. They just don't.
No.
So if anybody can get going, especially somebody like Pacheco, look out. So I think that's the key to that game. Keep it out of Lamar's hands and those explosive plays and that, up tempo, because we saw 10-10 at halftime in that game, ended up in a blowout. All it took was one, and they just exploded. So if they can keep it, that offense out of rhythm, I think that's going to be a big key for sure. I know I'm jumping a little bit all over the place, but I just wanted to talk about Pacheco. He was unbelievable again.
Yeah.
A madman, absolute madman. To think he was 7th round pick, Nate, 6th round pick.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Rutgers. I mean, I'll tell you what, he's certainly secured his spot as their starting running back, but he does not run like he has. He runs like he's like every down's his last. And I certainly respect that, especially with some of the running back antics we've seen in recent years from, Le'Veon Bell, this year with Austin Eckler a little bit, unfortunately. I think he's still a great guy, but some of his antics, hate to even say Barkley and Jacobs, but certainly, there's plenty of other ones, but yeah, position that's, not a lot of people seem to run like that consistently, but his first 2 years in this league, he has just run like a freaking absolute madman. It's a pleasure to watch him play football. He's certainly one of my favorites in the league right now. I love watching him.
Yeah. No, Trevor, anything else with your take or?
Are you going to shit on Josh Allen?
Not totally. But
okay, because I have a whole defense lined up for him in preparation for that. I thought that's what you might do.
No.
Okay. All right.
I have been, and I will say it firsthand, and you can look back at the episodes, all the viewers out there, and these guys have had to listen to my antics. Biggest criticizer of the Bills all season. Last night, that was one of the saddest sports moments. I made that video. But I will say there's 3 guys that I'm gonna blame for this loss, and one of them is not Tyler Bass. The one, McDermott, the fake punt. Also, you're the defensive play caller. Don't let his press conference. He rubbed me the wrong way.
I have something to say on that too. I'll let you. Yeah. So the thing was with that, and the on-field reporter for the game, one of the on-field reporters, Jay Feely, even brought this up. You run that play back, Kansas City has 10 guys on the field. Mm-hmm. And it looked like that the Bills audibled on that.
Right.
Granted, did they audible to the right call? No.
Right.
Not at all. No.
You saw that shift.
And that's obvious because, it didn't work out. He fell like 2 yards short of the line to gain.
Right.
It was a 4th and 5. They literally just tried to run it up the middle with a secondary man in DeMar Hamlin, and it didn't work out. So McDermott doesn't deserve as much criticism for that, but still it happened under his watch. So,
right. No, and then just the one criticism I got to say about Josh, and I know he literally got him to the point that they're at. It's not a 24-27 ending game without Josh. But I have to say, and I said in that video, that pass to Shakir that you referenced, Diggs is open over that slant right over the middle, Trevor.
I'm aware of that.
We gotta.
I'm aware of that.
I know
you're asking a gunslinger not to be a gunslinger.
Right.
You're asking Josh Allen not to be Josh Allen.
Right.
That's how he operates. And he was open. Shakir was open. If you go for the touchdown or you want to go for the drag route.
Right.
He wasn't anticipating what's his name? I forget.
Dion.
Dawkins getting shoved back into him by Jones.
Yes.
Literally got bumped as the throw was being delivered. And if he doesn't get bumped, he literally got bumped like a foot off of his spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's plenty enough. And we saw how the throw ended up. It was about 10 yards short of Shakir. I make that same throw.
Okay.
If I have the talent of Josh Allen and the size of Josh Allen, and Shakir's that wide open in the back of the end zone on a defense where normally that's not the case downfield, where you got guys like L'Jarius Sneed picking the ball off left and right and deflecting passes left and right.
Right.
I'm taking that shot.
Okay.
To try and win the game. Yeah, I'm doing that.
Okay. And then Diggs, he's going to get hit with it. He just cannot get separation. I know you and me talked about that play last night, long ball downfield. I thought it was underthrown. I look back at it now after we talked about it. Diggs he didn't make the catch. I mean, I know the defender's right there.
It hit his hands.
So,
and if it rule of thumb, if it hits your hands, you got to catch it.
Yeah.
And that's a game-changing play that didn't go the Bills' way.
Right.
They had a couple of those.
Right.
We just talked about two of them right in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah. No. And then I got to say this to Bills Mafia. You need to embrace Tyler Bass. I know everybody's been calling him Tyler Ass. I think that's very distasteful. This was a playoff game into the divisional. Okay. If you can embrace Scott Norwood in the Super Bowl going wide right, you can embrace this guy. I do not like the criticism. And I'm talking in sports pages, on Facebook. I know social media probably heightens it. They didn't have social media back in, when the hell was it? In the 90s. I don't know the exact
1991, I think, was that year, that Super Bowl. Yeah.
Right. It's just, you need to embrace this guy. He tried to kick it to the left. He didn't kick it far enough to the left. The wind took it. I mean, that guy, like we talked about last week with all three of us here, it's a goddamn wind tunnel in that stadium. It's probably the hardest place to kick in the NFL. So I don't know. I don't like that there's so many plays that could have happened, and you're going to just come after the guy that, you put him in a real shit situation. 44-yarder in any field really is not a gimme. I mean, back in the 70s,
yeah, that
was like a 60-yarder. Now, like what we make a 60-yarder nowadays. So I don't know. That's the one criticism I have is that was but I got to say that was one of the most non-Steeler game that I got sick to my stomach watching the end to it. It's terrible. And I know Taylor's comment in here, and it was sad for her as a fan to have to go through.
I couldn't imagine. Yeah. I mean, she said she wanted to cry. I wanted to puke. That's what I did.
I think she brought up a good point too. Why did they kick the field goal? I think not enough people were talking about that, to be honest.
That's a good point.
I mean, and sure, there's going to be a whole crowd of people that are going to go, you wouldn't take the tie and put it in and just see what happens? You're crazy. No, I'm not. I will sit here and defend myself every day of the week on this. We have seen Pat Mahomes come back and win the game with 13 damn seconds left on that team.
Right.
He owns them. I hate to say it, but he owns them. Yes. He lives right in their minds. You got to go for that. And I think it comes down to Sean McDermott.
Here's the thing, Nate, too, while you bring that up. If Buffalo kicks field goal, it's good. Then coin toss happens. Chiefs get it. They drive right down and score right away. Game over. Same thing. You're going to criticize somebody one way or another. And we just got done talking about how good the Chiefs' offense was.
Right.
Bills couldn't stop him. Bills couldn't get any pressure. Kelsey was more open than I've seen him in quite a while. He had his first touchdown since, what was it, week 12?
Yeah,
and he had two of them.
Yeah, right.
So either way, with that situation, someone's likely getting criticized. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think McDermott should get the criticism. But he's not right now. They're going to say it's Bass.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, guess what, you guys? He makes that kick. Mahomes still has time and timeouts to go down the field. Think
Correct.
about that. So, like, if they don't get it on 4th and 9 or whatever it would have been.
That's what 4th and 9. Yeah.
Okay, when they're going to
4th
go,
and 9.
and then everybody's going to go, why didn't they kick it? Well, I think it goes the other way too. Why didn't they go for it?
Right.
Because you're giving the ball to
I agree.
To a guy that is the best in the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tie game. But if you put it up by at least a score, then at least he has got to go the full length of the field instead of getting to the 35 or the 30 to win the game. You know what I'm saying?
You force them to score a touchdown rather than getting Butker in range. Yeah.
And like, I was sitting there watching it, and I'm just like, yeah, I wouldn't kick this. I mean, I think the play calling wasn't fantastic on that 4-down set either, but that's beside the point. No. I think you need to go for that. I truly do. I think that's where the mistake lied. I'll tell you this right now. I think Sean McDermott is not it. I think he's gotten them to where he's gotten them, and that's it. I don't see it with him. I don't.
Yeah, Nate, I remember in our group chat last night, you described him as the James Franklin of the NFL.
James Franklin of the NFL. He's gotten them to the divisional round, and that's all he can get him to. And, you know,
Franklin can get us to a New Year's 6, and that's it.
That's it. So
I have to say, too, for the viewers out there, I know you boys know this. The style of defense, Kansas City, Spagnuolo, right? I think I'm pronouncing it.
Yeah, Steve Spagnuolo. Yeah.
So the issue I'm having is I know you want to do conservative, okay, but against that offense, they're always going to show press and then veer off. You got to fucking get in the seams. You got to make those plays, or it's just going to be a nickel and dime. I understand you control the ball, but God damn it, Josh cannot be your whole offense, and that's what we saw last night.
This guy does everything, and we've been doing it for 5 years. Like, they got to get him some help.
Yep.
They did, and they ran the ball better than they run it the entire time they've had Josh Allen at quarterback. It's the best they've run the ball.
Yep.
And they had arguably the best defense again that they've ever had.
Yep.
But they just had too many injuries at middle linebacker that they refused to address. They address their corner situation, safeties, but they don't address middle linebacker. And then Diggs just completely disappeared the last 2 months. It's one thing after another with them. Like,
it's very strange.
Yeah, it's just whenever it's one thing, they get one thing fixed and they don't fix the other thing. And then whenever they get that next thing fixed, and it's something else. Yeah. You know what I mean? Last year they did it again. They did it too. They had so many safeties get hurt, and they just refused to go get anybody else to help them out. You know what I mean? They just kept promoting. And you know what? There are times where that's successful. Somehow with our team this year, the Steelers, we had our 8-string safety somehow work out. You know what I mean? But you guys, like, that was we knew that they're not going to win. Like, the Bills legitimately had a chance to win a Super Bowl. They did. We did not. Like, truthfully, we did not. Right. You know, in theory, yeah, we did because we were in the playoffs, but no, we really didn't. Yeah. And there's times that they make these goofy moves, and then they just don't seem to get where the holes are at. And that's a huge problem. So that's personnel, and that's coaching, and that's, you know, management. And it's just not the perfect formula right now. I know they've built a really, really good team. You know, this franchise was down for a long time, and they've come back. But right now, there's just these little holes, and I think that's the most frustrating part about it. You know, they have so much hype, and these little things go wrong for them. So I that's why I think a lot of it comes with McDermott. He just doesn't see it and doesn't address it enough. So that's my opinion about it for sure.
Taylor's a little upset, huh, Drew?
Yeah, shit in the bed.
Yeah. I will say this too. Yeah. There's been a lot, like you said, Nate, the weight of expectations. I think you put that perfectly. That's been put on the Bills since Josh Allen got there, pretty much, and since they started making playoffs year after year after year. You have that, and plus everything emotionally that they've dealt with over these past couple of years. You know, significantly the Damar Hamlin scenario last year. they were just absolutely exhausted. On top of being banged up in the secondary. And this year they were banged up in the middle linebacking spot. Their captain and, longtime great middle linebacker, Matt Milano, was out for a majority of the season, I believe. So it's tough. It's tough. Part of it's coaching, part of it's personnel, part of it's also just dumb luck.
Yeah.
I mean,
dumb luck. It's just ridiculous for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna bring up your least favorite sequence in NFL history, Nate, but that was partially dumb luck too.
I got 3 final points, and then we'll move on to Lions and Buccaneers, and then you boys, touch on whatever any points. I didn't realize we're on 25 minutes on the Bills game here, but it's a lot to talk about.
It's worth talking about. It's
So
it's way
1 point. You got 5. You have fluctuated, but you have 5 running backs that you've circulated through that offense. That's the first strike. You needed to make moves in the middle linebacker and secondary. You didn't do it. You did in the running back. I don't fucking understand. The one guy I don't even know who the hell he was. I kept calling him Nose Ring. I don't know his last name.
Kai Johnson.
Yeah.
He ran his butt off yesterday.
He did.
Yeah, he did. Had a couple of receptions too. He did really well.
The thing about him was he's been on the team the whole season, and they've signed Lat Murray in the middle of the season, and they signed Leonard Fournette. It's like, why'd you do this? Like, why'd you waste your time with that for the depth? Instead, you should have moved it to middle linebacker. You addressed safety and corner when you had injuries there, and you just didn't do it in middle linebacker. And now it makes them look stupid that they didn't re-sign Edmonds, but I totally agree. I'm not re-signing Edmonds for the deal he got. No. But if you're not going to re-sign Edmonds, you got to have some depth there at least. And
you got to allocate the funds to some depth,
And they didn't do that. And I'm telling you this right now, and I know I keep saying this. I've said it so many times on here. Von Miller's contract is killing them. It's destroying them.
You got to.
He's as ineffective as it gets right now. He's not.
Yeah. Like, he came with Ralph Wilson Stadium. I mean, come on. He's freaking washed. Right. That was when he signed for 6 years. I'm like, what are you doing?
Not good.
How many years does he have left, Nate?
4.
Yeah, he's 4.
Oh, God.
Rusher plays till 38.
Oh, jeez.
His agent is the best in the game.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I were an athlete and I knew Von Miller's agent, I'd be giving him a call right about now.
Oh my goodness, good for him.
Or right about 2 years ago.
Second point, you really got to look at the middle linebacker position and secondary in this draft. You got Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. I don't know if they're retiring or they're moving on or they're going to get a 1-year deal out of these boys, but you got those two came in together. I believe Hyde came from the Packers. Yep. And then Poyer came in from Cleveland. Or Hyde. I'm getting them fucked up.
No, I was with Green Bay. I'm not sure where Poyer was. I can't remember.
I think he was with the Browns. It doesn't matter. You gotta really look at your secondary and middle linebacker because that defensive line, they load that box. You don't have to worry about the defensive line, but I'm saying behind them, you got to really look at making some moves. And I think, and in the third point, I'm not going to say this. I don't think the window is closed, but it could be closed, mattering the decisions they make this summer. I just have to throw that out there to all the fans out there.
Yeah, and Allen keeps getting more and more on his contract, because his is obviously backloaded a little bit.
Yeah.
Try to increase that window. But I think another questionable decision, and look, I love this player I'm about to call out. I'm not calling him out. I'm just saying this hurt them, I believe. It was not their top priority. Was drafting Dalton Kincaid in the first round. I don't. It's not a waste of a first round pick. This kid's really freaking good. Him and Dawson Knox are an insane.
Proven that he's worth it. He's worth it.
You had holes, and that wasn't a hole.
No,
like it really wasn't. I know he adds a wrinkle to the offense. I understand that, and this kid's only going to get better. But I think he could have waited and got somebody else in the later rounds that could have not done quite the same as Kincaid because he's pretty good, but been enough of a threat that people would honor that next tight end, and they could have gotten another position in the first round. I just think that they messed up there too, but not going to blame that on Kincaid. I mean, good for him. Not his fault he got picked. I'd be happy as heck too.
Right. But moving over now, boys, to the Bills Mafia, you're in our thoughts and prayers. But now moving on, the Lions and Buccaneers game. The Lions are buying more kneecaps for another week, boys. I'll tell you, I believe in them. Trevor, you were right in the offseason. This is a real deal. I mean, you kind of make Baker Mayfield look like Cleveland Baker Mayfield for once this season. So thoughts and comments, boys, on the Buccaneers Lions game.
Yeah, that was a really good game as well. Didn't quite get the recognition it deserved because of the next game, but no, that was a good football game. The Lions defense came up big when they needed to. They set the tempo at the beginning and closed the door at the end. And that's how that defense needs to be. They need to force turnovers because they give up a crap ton of yards. And, they came up big enough.
Yep.
So one thing I just don't understand why this happened was why the heck did Todd Bowles just not take the last time out?
There it is. Yeah, I was going to say.
Like, what do you have to
Yeah.
You taking it into freaking September this year? You carry over the timeout into
I understand. That's
I mean, I know, Todd, it's probably over, but guess what? Stranger things have happened. You know what I mean? Like, ask Herm Edwards what happens when you don't kneel it out and a fumble happens. You know what I'm saying? He had one of the biggest moments in the history of the game because a team didn't kneel it out. Instead, they ran it. He picked up a fumble and ran it back.
Yeah.
Who knows if, you call a timeout, a snap goes over someone's head, a fumble happens, something stupid. I just didn't get that. I thought that was a very poor decision by Todd Bowles. But it probably wouldn't have made a difference, but
no. It was third down when they took the knee, so it would have been fourth down, likely lining up for a field goal if you're Detroit, but you never blocked field goal, like you said, snap over the head, something stupid.
Yep.
Could happen. I don't know why that was the case. Maybe it didn't. I was going to say prolong the inevitable, but it's the playoffs. Your season's pretty much over anyway. At least you give your team a greater than 0% chance.
Right.
Whereas if you don't take the timeout, well, game's done. I don't know why. I don't know why that was the case. And Detroit not completely at fault in that sequence either. They kind of kneeled the ball early a couple times.
They did. That was also stupid.
Yeah. That was a weird kneel down ending sequence, which I know I don't want to spend too much time on that, but it was strange to watch. Got to wonder the motives behind that between Bowles and the Lions offense and what all was going on the sidelines there. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
If Tomlin would have done what Bowles did, I would have snapped. That shows you don't believe in your team. That's how I take it. You're done. Fuck it. 48 yarder. We saw it last night, boys. This is 40 plus yard.
I mean,
field goal.
granted, in a dome versus in the Buffalo wind tunnel, but still, make
them earn it.
Yeah, exactly. Make them seal it. Maybe that's just inexperience as a head coach too. I don't know.
Right.
Well, and
I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about it.
No, I got you.
Last thing I'm going to say about it is he misses that. I know they would have no timeouts in about 20, 30 seconds.
Right.
But the
Somewhere
thing,
in there, yeah.
Mike Evans is a guy you can throw those balls up to down the sideline. And Godwin's someone you can put across the middle. And Trey Palmer's played phenomenal football the last month and a half of the season. He's played great. He's going to be
Otten has stepped up as well, yes.
Otten's been good too. So, they had some options, some guys that can, get open across the middle and make it to the sideline, or you can throw it deep to. So, in just to not give those guys a chance by taking the time out, it's just I didn't like that, but probably wouldn't have mattered, but you never know. That's why you play it, though. you play it out to me.
Right.
You play it out.
Yeah. Just final thoughts here for me. Baker getting paid next year, boys?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
He will get a contract, less years, but annual salary that rivals Daniel Jones.
Okay.
40
Yep.
to $40 million a year.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Who would have thought?
I'm all over that. I'm with you.
I'll tell you
with
what. Someone's giving it to him.
I know.
Someone's giving it to him. This guy's won playoff games. I know he throws some picks, but when he got right this year, and he played his best football in the games that mattered. And I know he had a rocky year, but
He did. But keep in mind, Bucks, they were sitting at 4-7, third in the division, and all of a sudden they go on a nice little tear, go at 5-1 to end it. And I know they barely squeaked it out against Carolina to win the division in the last week of the season. They still had games like that, sure, but he didn't have to win.
Right.
yeah.
That's all you can ask. That's all you can ask. And Baker Mayfield, too, on a short list of guys who have won playoff games with two different teams. One apiece with the Browns. We all remember that one. I don't want to, but it's here to my memory. And then he won one with the Bucks just last week.
Yeah, and they're the two worst franchises in terms of winning percentage in the history of the league, and he's won them for both.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I know
make it make sense. It doesn't make any damn sense.
He's better than what a lot of people have given him credit for. Last year was not on him. The Panthers didn't have a plan for him.
No, Panthers didn't have a plan. Period. They just stumbled into the season with three guys who were backup quarterbacks. Sound familiar?
Yeah. And the Rams got him. 48 hours, he went and won him a game. He made him look halfway decent again in the McVay system with a bunch of nobodies who were all hurt last year. Yep. And he got his chance. He's made the most of it. So good for Baker. Not my favorite athlete of all time or anything, but he played well enough to deserve a pretty big payday. Do I think he's worth 40 to 45 million? Goodness, no. But that's the market, man. Quarterback league. And so someone's going to give it to him for sure.
And I got to give two guys their flowers. One is everybody, if you don't know who he is now, you do. Amon St. Brown, special talent. He really elevated on my list of dangerous wide receivers in the game. The season, I'm not saying the rest of the season wasn't good, but yesterday really blossomed. And the other guy that has been kicked around, got sent over from LA, Jared Goff finally gets his flowers, and I think he is now respected as a high caliber quarterback, boys. I think everybody's been saying he's mid or he can't, perform in big games. He fucking did yesterday. So give the guy his respect.
Yes. You talk about the biggest, I would argue the biggest win-win trade in NFL history.
Yes.
Stafford and Goff switching places with some pieces mixed in there. Stafford goes and wins a Super Bowl, and then Goff, a couple years later, wins two playoff games for, of all teams, the Detroit Lions.
Right.
How about it? They're in an NFC Championship game right now.
Yeah.
Got a tall test ahead of them in Santa Clara.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, Dan Campbell's going to come with a full arsenal. Yep. He's not going to leave anything on the field, unlike Todd Bowles. Yep. He's not going to leave anything on the field.
No.
He's proven that his team's going to fight to the end, and Goff is at the head of the table with that team. I'm enjoying every bit of that. Shout out to Jahmyr Gibbs. I've averaged over 8 yards a carry in this game, scored a touchdown, and I will say this: Derek Barnes will never have to pay for a beverage in Detroit ever again. Props to that. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll do a little cheers to that guy right now. Cheers. There we go.
But I got to say this.
I hope you heard that.
Yeah. I got to say this, though. This team performing at such a high level, you got a whole city that is just on your back wanting you just to – I mean, there's a lot of pressure here, boys, and they are just really taking the moment and fucking going with it. So hats off the Lions. You know, I hope I believe in them. We'll see in Pick'ems how much we all believe in them, but we'll go from there. Switching over though, the 49ers and Packers game. If you're a Packers fan, there is nothing to be sad about.
Hell to the no.
I understand. Yes, there was things that I was like, what the fuck's going on in this game? It was some questionable things, what have you. But, I mean, you had they were like the Steelers, I'd say. I don't want to make full comparison. LaFleur and I forget who he calls the plays for the Packers.
LaFleur does, yeah.
Yep.
Matt LaFleur.
So,
yep.
Great football mind, but you had no fucking business even being this far, and you did it. So hats off, and you held with one of the most impressive teams in many years.
How lucky is that Packers fan base to potentially have these three quarterbacks back to back to back?
Right.
I mean, I'm going to be real worried if in 15 years down the line, Jordan Love has a Super Bowl or two, and then all of a sudden he gets traded to the Jets. I'm worried that history is going to repeat itself for a fourth time. Oh, yeah. No, I'm going to be hell, I'm worried now. These Packers fans are so damn lucky. I swear to God. You get two of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Favre and Rodgers, back to back. And we're thinking the pick that everyone resented, Jordan Love, the one that, and you guys will remember this moment from the Pat McAfee show, one of the most epic moments in the history of that show. Ty Schmidt as Mel Kiper, the biggest Packer fan probably on the planet, owns a little bit of the team too, by the way. I believe he got that passed through some inheritance there. Resented. They absolutely resented that pick. But here we are. What do we are 4 years later? And everybody in Green Bay is just eager to crown him.
Yep. Dude's going to get one of the biggest deals in the history of the NFL.
Yes. Yes.
He might get it this season too. And
is he UFA after next season, right, Nate? Technically.
He signed, I think, a 2-year extension. I think it was like a low risk deal, and they're going to say larger, longer extension now.
If he hadn't assigned that, this upcoming year would have been his option year, correct?
Oh yeah. So, yeah, he's going to go get a bag, and I think he deserves it. But truthfully, they got to get better on defense a little bit, and sure up a little bit on the offensive line. Bakhtiari, I think, might call it a career. He just can't stay healthy. It's unfortunate. So they might have to go address that a little bit differently finally and prioritize a left tackle because, he hasn't been out there, and they've been piecemealing it while he's been gone for probably about almost 5 years now with all these knee injuries and such. But other than that, I mean, they have the youngest team in the NFL. They got low cap receivers, all rookie deals and, short, rather long-term deals with the rookie contracts. So this team's going to be pretty tough next year. They're going to, I think they could be one of the favorites in the NFC. And this year, I know they weren't ready. They were not, but they took
very young.
They took what I think, but probably is arguably the best team in the league to the very end.
Yep.
And blew out Dallas at Dallas.
Yep.
So give them credit. They played their best ball the last 2 months of the year. After Thanksgiving, man, they turned into a monster. Yes, they beat the Lions on Thanksgiving. Truly, it was after they lost to the Steelers, they just turned it on, man. So I'm glad we played them when we did because they turned the corner and they were freaking tough to beat. And Aaron Jones was also a huge part of that. Jordan Love made some amazing plays. Don't get me wrong. He makes plays that very few can make, but the way Aaron Jones ran the ball was special. So he's a big part of that. He got healthy and they started rolling.
I was going to say 2 takeaways. Aaron Jones is that guy. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. Over 100 yards and over 6 yards of carry in the pass game in this.
And the other thing, one takeaway, boys, that is going to play a factor in pick'ems for me. We saw Brock Purdy cannot throw the goddamn ball in the rain, which I didn't realize. how big of a factor that was going to play for him. If you were watching that game, he had the glove on, then he didn't have the glove on. Did he throw an interception with the glove on, or was that he just couldn't get the goddamn ball there? I mean,
he almost did.
Almost
Okay.
did, yeah.
Right.
I don't think he threw an interception. I think he fumbled once, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong.
Threw a pick with the glove on. He threw it right to Green Bay, and they dropped
That's what it was.
right on the first drive of the game.
Okay. So, I mean, that's just kind of a new wrinkle I saw, that America's favorite son does have an issue with something. I mean,
Yeah.
which it's not a bad thing. It's really only one big thing that I saw during that whole game. And yeah, I mean, it's just the 49ers are too stacked. And we knew Christian McCaffrey was going to get a touchdown. So, I mean, if you didn't put that bet in, I'm sorry, but I mean, that's just easy money all day.
You got that too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Bad. He's pretty good at football, isn't he?
Oh.
right.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, and I lumped that into my parlay. I'd never seen this high odds on anytime touchdown, minus 330 for Christian McCaffrey. And
Wow.
that was just for one. That was just for anytime touchdown one, and he ended up getting two.
Wow.
Right. I think he was minus on 2, Trevor. Or
He might have been.
plus 148, I want to say.
I did not see the minus odds. I only wanted to meet the threshold to get my bonus bets, and that's what I did.
Right.
So
that's the beauty to it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, moving on to this next game, Houston Texans against the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not even going to have a long talk on this. I just have to say this. We saw the Texans' run game is so important to that team, and if they don't have it, they just crumble. That's just my thought on that game. But what do you boys think here?
The Ravens just flipped the switch at halftime. Lamar Jackson said he went in there and swore at his team, and that was all it took.
Right.
Well, that was he must have said the right magic words in the right combination, in the right tone, in the allotment of halftime, because they looked like a completely different team after the second quarter. Came out in the third quarter and this blew them out of the water. And the experience took over, the tenacity took over, and quite frankly, Lamar Jackson took over. He was just doing his thing out there. Some of the cuts he make, it's like, why are you a quarterback? Like,
Right.
holy mackerel!
Right.
So he's gonna be tough to stop no matter who plays him. But good luck with Kansas City again, play another running quarterback.
Right.
2 in a row.
seriously.
You know, I don't envy them, but if I know Andy Reid, they'll be ready. You know, he's played so many, or he's got his team playing in so many big games over the years in his career. But yeah, that's gonna be a good game. Texans are they're just not quite ready yet. You know, that's what my takeaway is. They got some holes on defense. Got to run the ball. Got to be a little bit more balanced and more consistent. Got to protect Stroud a little better, you know, I think. So, but that team's close. That team is close. Feel sorry for them. They got a first place schedule next year in the AFC. That's going to be really brutal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun with that. Great season for them. A lot of people picked them to finish near the bottom of the league, and they responded. The Ryans did a great job this year, but they just didn't have enough to withstand the force that's the Baltimore Ravens right now. They're playing out of their minds.
Yeah.
I want to say their over-under at the beginning of the season for win total was 6.
Yeah, it was like 5.5.
5.5, 6. They ended up being 10-7, making the playoffs, winning that division over Jacksonville in at the midnight hour there. Better than anyone would have ever expected, and they even won a playoff game. Holy shit! Like, that's really amazing for them. But Baltimore proved exactly why they're the best team in football right now.
Right.
Balanced attack, and they shut them down on defense. Did not give up a defensive touchdown in that game. The one touchdown, I believe, was off of a punt return, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah, with the punt return, Nate, I think it was that punt return in the second quarter, middle of the second quarter for the Texans that made it a 10-10 game at the time. Little did we know, like you said, Lamar was going to swear in the locker room, and apparently that did it. It was all over but the crying from there. Lamar, only 152 yards passing, but he had 100 yards rushing and 4 combined touchdowns. Texans only had 38 rushing yards as a team. Like you said, Nate, glaring weakness right there. Got to address it. Good news is they didn't give up any sacks. I believe they only had the one. Actually, no, they didn't have any turnovers either, believe it or not. Dameon Pierce did fumble once, did not lose that.
Mm-hmm.
So clean game, but a dry game, and Baltimore dominated.
Yeah.
Baltimore just no controversy with that game. I know that much.
Nope.
Right. No, and yeah, I'll tell you, and we'll get into it with the pick'ems. But if the Chiefs can't neutralize Lamar's running ability, you're gonna have a long fucking day. Any team.
Oh my God,
you
yeah.
gotta contain him, or he's gonna break off. What, he had 100 plus easily,
100 rushing on the dot, and then 152 passing. So all-purpose 252.
I mean, that's a pretty good day. It's a pretty good day.
Yeah.
Can't fucking stand those Ratbirds, but yeah, it's a good day. Yeah. Switching over things here, ladies and gentlemen out there. Trevor's got a segment here for us. We've been doing it now 2 weeks in a row. What's more likely, and it's just a wonderful time. So, Trevor, you go ahead, bud.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Of course, it's inspired by the Rich Eisen show. I watch that pretty much every day, and they do this segment quite a bit. And I enjoy the banter that comes out of it. And I enjoyed it last week, the banter that came out of this little segment as well. So I got a lot of stuff for the upcoming championship weekend, a lot of long-term stuff, and then a few draft ones for you guys here. So kind of starting out with since it's kind of fresh in our minds, Josh Allen. More likely that Josh Allen wins a Super Bowl with the Bills, or Mahomes gets 4 with the Chiefs. Matches Bradshaw with the Steelers.
Mahomes with the Chiefs. It's just I hate to say it. I feel sorry for this guy. I can't see it. I just keep the window is getting
closing. It's
creeping in.
It's creaking.
Track's killing him. They're going to have to likely replace Diggs, I think. So the defense is getting older. So I'm going to say Mahomes with 4. But I'll tell you what, the Chiefs, they have their own stuff to fix. They got to fix their wide receiver room. I know they're winning right now, but they got to fix their wide receiver room, and they got to figure out if they can get Chris Jones to come back again too, because we saw it week 1. They're a different team there than not. So, but yeah, I'm going to go with Mahomes more likely to get 4 than Allen to get 1. Just because it's the Bills, man. I don't get it. It's dumb. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to go Mahomes because 6 years as a starter, 6 years in the AFC title game. It's hard to argue it, right?
Right. No, I got to throw out here. I mean, Josh is 27. You got about his body. I don't think his body stays up for 10 more years. I got to be real with you guys. I've complained multiple times. He needs the fucking slide. Nate, we've said it. Trevor, it's going out there too.
He even had a play this past week where he slid awkwardly, almost caused a leg injury.
That's not how to slide.
I mean, it's just you can't. And also, I don't know. He must have a really good body guy. Maybe he has LeBron's body guy. I don't know. But yeah, season after season after season,
get any better than that? Yeah, he probably does.
I mean, you cannot have almost close to what I think he had almost 1,000 yards rushing. I mean, it close.
Yeah.
And you can't do that year in and year out and play almost 18 or 20 games somewhere around there. I mean, and yeah, no, I really hate to say this, but the window closed after last year was the year.
Yeah.
You fucking had it. You had a Bengals team that I felt was really on the ropes, and you blew it. You blew it. You can't. You can't. You're going to clear house this offseason, and I'm really just fucking sad. You're always going to have 17, but next year's going to be rough, and I think the years after. I really hate to say that, but Mahomes, Trevor. I know that was long-winded, but I had to get it out because
No problem.
It's fucking painful. It is painful to see this fan base so passionate, and just get their hearts broken. So, yeah.
I was trying to look up Josh Allen rushing yards for you. He's eclipsed 750 twice and eclipsed 500 this past season. So getting up there especially for a quarterback, but did have 15 rushing touchdowns this year as well. I believe he had a combined, 50 touchdowns over the course of the season, including post. So. But I'm with you both. Mahomes gets 4 with the Chiefs. Hell, he might even do it within the next 2 years. You never know. You never know. They got a good shot this time around again, making the AFC Championship. I know they got to go on the road again, making it Mahomes' second road playoff game in his career, which is nuts to me because I think he's had like 17 playoff games, something like that, and he's only had 2 of them, going to be 2 of them on the road. But yeah, Mahomes has gotten over the hump twice, twice already. Josh Allen hasn't. I gotta ride Mahomes with that one.
Yeah.
More into championship weekend games here. More rushing yards in the AFC title game. Lamar Jackson or Isaiah Pacheco? Over under right now for Lamar is 61.5 and 65.5 for Pacheco. Because you got to remember, Kansas City Spagnuolo plays a lot of man blitz, kind of counterintuitive to what a running quarterback would do. And like you said earlier, Nate, and I've concurred with you. Since he's come in the league, Pacheco, just his legs don't stop. He runs like a maniac.
Yeah.
But Baltimore, Baltimore's front 7 as well. You got to factor that, handicap that in the play as well.
That's what's holding me up. Their front's so freaking good. And it's I'm gonna still probably go Pacheco. Because, I think they'll do a lot of things to keep Lamar in the pocket and make him throw. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. But, I think Pacheco's going to get the ball a lot. So, I'm going to go Pacheco.
Yes.
I'm going to go Pacheco, and I feel like the Chiefs' defense – some reason the goddamn Steelers can neutralize them. If our defense can, I feel like the Chiefs can. I mean, they got a hell of a mind in the coordinator there. So I see Pacheco taking it. Yeah.
Volume of carries plays a factor. All the stuff that I kind of brought up before plays a factor. Strategy, Baltimore's front 7, all of that. Trying to see what I know. Lamar ran the ball 11 times for that 100 yards. Last week, don't know how sustainable that is. Pacheco had 15 for 97, so somewhat comparable, if you can believe that. But weirdly, I'm going to say Lamar. I think he rips off a big touchdown run, like 60-something yard, 50, 60 yard. I think he gets loose once. That's going to make up for a bulk of his yardage, and then he'll get, a little 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 whenever he needs to get first downs and whenever they got him covered downfield in man coverage. So I'll take Lamar for that. Okay. More likely to score 2 touchdowns, Gus Edwards or Travis Kelce?
Travis.
I'm going Gus.
Gus.
Going Gus. Yeah, Travis I think was a fluke. I think they'll cover him a lot better. Baltimore's got the best linebacking core in football right now, the way they're playing. Patrick Queen, I know he got hurt in the game, but, he's amazing, and so is Roquan Smith. So, and Clowney, I know that he's an edge guy, but he's a linebacker too. And, their linebacking core is incredible. So I think that they'll do their job to shut down Kelsey, unlike Buffalo. So I'm going Gus Edwards. I think he'll get some goal line love for sure, and I'd say it's more likely for him, I think, this week.
You said Kelsey, Drew.
They're just, it feels like we're getting rejuvenated with Kelsey. It's like 2021 again, Kelsey, for some reason.
Are we in the Travis Kelsey era?
I just, some reason the playoffs,
Again?
man,
Is that what we're in?
the playoffs, he's just fucking on. I just don't get it. He'll break off.
I had to do it, Nate. I'm sorry. I had to do it, Nate.
A 45-yard catch or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just, Travis, Patrick's looking for him more. That's what I think. That's all.
That is true.
It's a good pick too. I mean, that's a tough one. That's why I like this shit, Trevor. You get me in my mind going.
No, I'm good at stirring the pot in pretty much any setting that I'm in. So Taylor just on fire with the comments tonight. I just puked in my mouth. But like I said, I like to stir the pot, and I like to stir your stomachs too. So, reason I brought that up, those guys are both even at plus 850 for 2+ touchdowns on FanDuel. So I wanted to see your guys' opinion on that. I'm going to go with Nate again on this one. Gus Edwards, big red zone option for them. If they get inside the 10, the ball's almost certainly going to him at least once, if not 2 or 3 times. So I'll take Gus Edwards. Travis Kelsey, I think he still scores once, but I don't see him getting 2 again. I don't see Baltimore letting that up. I'll take Gus.
What's that goddamn play they run? He's over on the left side. They shield off, the line does, and then they do that little dump pass. That I can see that.
Just a little bubble screen or whatever. Yeah,
I could see that happening.
That could. I don't know.
I get it.
Rarely do you score 2 touchdowns in a row in the playoffs as a skill position. So,
yeah,
I'm going to take Gus. Gus.
I got you.
More likely to get more airtime, Taylor Swift or shirtless Jason Kelsey?
Right. I'm going to go Taylor because I don't expect him to be shirtless again. I think that was a one-time. I think the people of Baltimore will they'll not put up with that.
That is a good point.
I think they'll find it distasteful there. So I don't think they want that. So I'm going to go Taylor. We'll get more airtime than Jason.
I'll go with Taylor. I think Jason just did it because of Ryan Fitzpatrick years ago, doing that in the stands.
Yeah, and he was actually getting along well with Bills Mafia, even though he was wearing a Chiefs hat. I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you both, though. T Swift. We return to the T Swift era in Kansas City, unfortunately, in terms of her, being on camera about 20 times per game, which is she was actually on the camera more than the referees were this past game, if you can believe that. So,
I can believe it.
Yeah, no, that was a good time. More likely to throw more interceptions in the NFC Championship game, Jared Goff or Brock Purdy?
Oh,
I'm gonna go Purdy.
I'm feeling Purdy too.
I think the moment's very big for him, and Debo might not play, and I don't think he's gonna play, and I think that really adds a wrinkle to this thing. I think they're gonna win. I do think they're gonna win this game, but I think it's gonna be really close.
Yeah,
and I think they're gonna do what they did this past game. They're gonna have some drives where they look insane, and then they're gonna look lost on some of these drives, I think. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Purdy. So, yeah, I just think his inexperience is gonna show. That's why.
That's fair. Drew, you said Purdy as well.
I just Aiden Hutchinson's playing out of his goddamn mind right now.
Much as I hate to say this, him being a Michigan man, he is him.
I mean,
Aiden Hutchinson is him.
If there's pressure on Purdy, all day, two interceptions, all day. The guy, I'm not saying he's up to Garoppolo level of shitting himself, but God damn it, I think it, and we'll get on it with Pick'ems, but yeah, Purdy throws 2 interceptions.
Cinco Squad podcast is going off in the comments here. I'm appreciating.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Hey,
He made the whole Jason Kelsey, the jump from the suite to the stands is a little steeper comment. And yeah, Purdy got lucky on 3 potential interceptions last. Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. I was thinking the same thing as you both. Goff, it's just at this point more well known just for taking care of the ball and playing it safe, but still being able to stretch the field with Laporta, St. Brown, and even Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield. So I'll take Purdy as well. Although I would not be surprised if we don't see an interception at all in this game either. So I could see that, especially if Debo is playing. Little news on that. His injury in his shoulder is not a break. He's about a 50-50 shot to play in the NFC Championship game. So more likely that Christian McCaffrey will score twice again, or that a Detroit running back does not score.
Shit, Trevor, that's good. Montgomery.
I like to make them good.
Yeah, I think it's more likely that McCaffrey scores twice versus a Detroit running back not scoring. I just who else are they going to give the ball to, man? Debo. I just think they're gonna if he plays, his touches will be down. It'll be different with him. I think. I think that they got to get. This is a game that McCaffrey really has to win it for him. I think about that. He's got to do his thing.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I'm going to go with him getting the ball a good bit. I really think they're going to unleash him for sure. They have to. They can't. They have nothing to lose now. Nothing to hold back. So, yeah, that's my assumption. Gibbs is so freaking fast. Montgomery inside the 10, they give him the ball a lot. So, I think I think it's more likely that McCaffrey gets 2 touchdowns than Detroit running game gets held out.
Yeah, I say I go McCaffrey 2 touchdowns. One through a pass, one through a run. But Gibbs, man, God damn it, I like him. I love him.
Yeah.
To think they didn't unlock him until like week 6 or 7.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah. That was a good one. Shit.
Oh yeah, I'm with you both again. Although, like I said, I love to stir the pot. I knew this one was going to be a little tough, but Christian McCaffrey, I'll just tell you right now, plus 170 on FanDuel to score 2. He's about 500 points lower than the next closest guy, which is Brandon Ayuk. So that ought to tell you enough. No matter who it is, whether it's Montgomery getting the red zone touches sporadically now throughout the season, or Gibbs just being as versatile, I wouldn't put him up there as versatile as Christian McCaffrey, but he's proven to be pretty damn versatile. He's very good, runs hard, and he's still good on those bubble screens, throws behind the line of scrimmage out of the backfield. So yeah, I'll take CMC to score twice again, even though I'm kind of contradicting my earlier point of skill positions don't score twice in the playoffs twice in a row in the playoffs too many times, but it's Christian freaking McCaffrey. So if anybody's going to do it, that guy's probably going to do it.
Yeah.
So kind of changing gears here. Actually, no, I do have one more regarding the AFC Championship or NFC Championship, excuse me. More likely that Gibbs and Christian McCaffrey combined for 150 rushing yards, or that Brandon Ayuk and Amon-Ra St. Brown combined for 150 receiving yards.
I'm going running backs.
I'm going to go wide receivers.
Okay.
I think that Ayuk is going to have a day. He's going to have to against that Lions secondary. They're going to need to throw it to Ayuk, and Ayuk can get down the field and stretch that field. And
yes,
he's gonna have to do it. And Amon-Ra, I don't think anybody slows down Amon-Ra. I don't think who it is.
No. No, geez, you can literally line up Amon-Ra anywhere on the field, and he's going to have success.
Yeah, and you
could argue the same for Ayuk.
said Gibbs and McCaffrey only, right?
Gibbs and McCaffrey only, yes.
That's part of the reason why. Because McCaffrey doesn't just run it. He gets it out of the backfield as a pass catcher.
This is true.
And Montgomery and Craig Reynolds steal carries from Gibbs. So I think it's Ayuk and Amon-Ra slightly. But I can't fault DB because you're probably more likely to get, runs with those guys than passes to those two. A lot of mouths to feed on both offenses. So I can see why.
I just think it's going to be a boring fucking game. I really do. I think it's just going to be a ground pound. And we'll get more into it in pick'ems, but both these quarterbacks just kind of shit themselves. So I feel like the game plan is going to be like, we're not going to make big plays. We're going to just try to hold the fucking ball and use up as much time. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. But that guy's a splash play motherfucker. I mean, and so is St. Brown. I could see one of them getting one big catch and clearing it out right there.
Yep.
A lot of it hinges too on if Debo plays or not, and that's going to determine target share. I'm actually rolling with DB on this one. I think the running backs get to 150. I think Gibbs had close to 100 yards last time out, as did McCaffrey. And obviously McCaffrey scored twice on the ground. So I think it's the safer play, but I can see why you said receivers, Nate. Those are two big play receivers, both Ayuk and St. Brown. You can't really stop either one of them. They always just seem to find space, whether it's against man zone. Doesn't really matter. They find space and they gobble up targets. And like I said, if Debo isn't healthy, Ayuk's just going to gobble up all the wide receiver targets for San Francisco. My only concern too would be Kittle also had a nice game this past week if he plays a big factor in this upcoming game as well.
I'll be on just real quick, Trevor.
Go ahead.
If that is a bet on this weekend, is that live right now? Or
I think there is a prop for Gibbs and Christian McCaffrey, the rushing yards.
Okay.
I don't know if the other one is a prop.
Honestly,
I saw the rushing yards prop for sure, and I wanted to pit some receiving prop against that, but I don't know if that latter one exists.
I would have no issue putting $10, $5 on each, because I think one of those will hit all day.
Yeah, no, you could, and you could get decent money off of that too. I think I saw it underneath the specials for the week too. It's either the specials or the blue. I saw it somewhere around there.
But do not bet now, people.
Right, correct. Can't emphasize that enough. Or do it at your own risk.
Right.
Do it at your own risk.
Right. Sorry.
So came about today. The Browns general manager wants Joe Flacco back. So I got to ask you guys this: more likely to start next season as the Browns QB1, Joe Flacco or Deshaun Watson? And I know this might be a stupid one.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson.
Go ahead.
Deshaun Watson. I don't think Joe Flacco will come back. I just don't see it. I don't see him coming back. I don't think he's got another year in him. I don't see it. I think they're gonna go with DTR as the backup and roll with Watson, even though I just don't see it anymore with him. I don't think he's got it in him anymore, but I think they're stuck with him. So I'm gonna go Watson.
Here's the difference between two franchises, and I know people out there know how much I kiss the Steelers' ass, and they could do no wrong in my eyes. But if I'm a franchise, Deshaun Watson, and I've said it before, boys, I do not think he was totally hurt. Okay, and when you need a guy and he's not willing to get on the goddamn field, fuck him. Seriously, I've said it before. Do the Mets thing. Pay him out. Flacco, in an interview, I think it was about 3-4 weeks ago, he found the love of wanting to be on the team again. He wants to be around the boys. Write it out one more year. Or draft a guy. But you got Thompson, so I don't know. They should have never did this deal. They should have never did it. Just left them go.
Yeah.
And it will 10-year wave that for them to come back from this. Just stupid. You see a pretty piece of jewelry and you take it to an actual jeweler and it turns out it's fake. It's not gold. It's fake.
Yeah.
Gold. That's what happened here. Whatever.
Yeah, I saw a clip the other day of a collector taking a fake Babe Ruth card to the pawn to Pawn Stars and him getting absolutely roasted for it. Same kind of scenario here, but unfortunately, like you said, Nate, they're probably stuck with them. It, as weird as it sounds, it's up there with one of the worst deals for a quarterback ever. Right now, it is. Could it turn around? Maybe. Not likely, but maybe. Will Flacco come back? That's another maybe. I don't know. He could. He easily could. If, a couple quarterbacks get hurt mid-season, or even a couple for one team, as unfortunate as that is, they might give Joe a call to get him off the couch again. You never know.
Right.
Yeah.
Never know.
I just don't see it. I think he's done. But we'll see. I mean, I agree with that. Like,
yeah,
Aaron Rodgers gets hurt again. Why are you not calling him?
Right.
They should have been calling him anyway.
right.
He played for him last year. Him last year.
Yep.
He knows the offense. He knows the system. I don't know why they didn't call him, but they tried to give the reins to Zach Wilson, and we saw how that worked.
Simeon and Boyle and freaking who else? Terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't matter. Their offensive line's so bad. And Cleveland's is one of the best in the league, but still.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you too. Whatever executive or lead guy that went to that owner of the Browns and said, "Hey, this is a good idea." I don't know. Whatever. He wasn't found. But character. Look at his fucking character. That's what it goes in all walks of life. All right, and you fucking just signed a check. $245 million, which makes me fucking sick to my stomach that a guy like that gets that kind of deal.
Well, he also had 2 years off of football. Like,
yeah, too.
Yeah.
Like
it was supposed to be one until
right.
What happened.
Yeah. Just a disaster. And it's the greatest organization for that to happen to. Keep them down.
Sure. Yeah. I don't mind stomping a mud hole in the Browns every single year. Them being my routine punching bag, I don't mind that at all.
Right, it's a nice gimmick.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on to some 2024 draft talk here. And I was looking at mock drafts earlier, and one of them I saw had quarterbacks going 1, 2, 3 right down the line. So I got to ask you boys, and I think I know Nate's answer to this, but I'd be intrigued to hear Drew's answer to this.
Yes,
is it more likely that quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3 in the draft, or Bo Nix falls to the Steelers at number 20?
I fucking want that so bad. I'm telling you guys.
I think
I keep in mind both could legitimately happen, but let's just play the or game for a second.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're both going to happen.
Yeah,
I think it's more likely that Bo Nix falls to 20 at the Steelers, but I think he's going to fall even further. I don't think we'll pick him. I don't think he's going to be a first round quarterback. I think he's going to be a second, probably second, but there's very few second round quarterbacks that have done well in the NFL. So yeah, I think it's more likely that Bo Nix falls to 20 and beyond than top 3 quarterbacks, but I think both are going to happen, to be honest. So
fair enough. I should have kind of worded that to where Bo Nix gets picked by the Steelers, but if we want to play that game for a second, then I know your answer, Nate.
Yeah, then it's top 3.
Yeah.
Not good.
So May, Daniels, and Williams, not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, but if I had to pick an order, I think it's going to be Daniel. What I think it should be is Daniels, Williams, May. What I think it'll be is Williams, May, Daniels. But I think
that's what one of the latest mock drafts that I was one of the more recent ones. Guy by the name of Bucky Brooks threw that together. That's the order that he had. What you're thinking there, Nate? Which kind of leads me into my next one, and I'll try to rip off the Band-Aid quick with this one. And just judging by your answer to this one, to the past one, Nate, I know your answer to this one. More likely to be the number 1 pick in the 2024 draft, Caleb Williams or the field?
At this time, it's Caleb Williams, but I wouldn't pick him. I wouldn't. I think Daniels is a more polished professional. I think that his upside is unlike very few. I know they say that about Williams, but Williams to me he's got too much recklessness and outside of a system to me. I think Jaden Daniels, his recklessness and outside of a system is just his legs. That's it. That's it. And you can work with that. To me, Williams just runs around like a chicken with his head cut off and makes plays. You know, that's the way Mahomes is, but it's different to me. It's just it feels different. He got the perfect team, the perfect coach, the perfect. Caleb Williams is going to go to like Chicago. They haven't even had a 4,000-yard damn passer in the history of their franchise. Good luck. And he's from like Washington, D.C. And you know, they get a little bit of snow there. And, you know, he played at Oklahoma, played at USC. They don't get any snow. Good luck in Soldier Field in the middle of freaking November, December, or if it starts pouring like crazy one night or one game.
Right.
And good luck with Eberflus as your head coach. I just don't see it. They're going to probably get a big time OC, but good luck with that. So I don't know. I like Caleb Williams. I think he's going to be a really good player, but I just think Jaden Daniels just has an it to his game that's just like few we've ever seen. Like I hate to put this pressure on a kid, but like I think it's Vic and Jackson-esque. He's got and Kyler Murray. I know Kyler Murray's little. He's got speed out the wazoo when he's going right. So he's that kind of runner with the ball. He's dynamic, and
needs to learn how to slide with it. But
he's got a cannon too. So I really Jaden Daniels to put up the numbers he put up in college was absolutely ridiculous.
For sure,
he put up better numbers than Joe Burrow did.
He did.
And granted,
those are just facts.
Yeah,
you can look it up.
Yeah, and granted, the LSU defense certainly gave him ample opportunities to keep putting up numbers, but he kept delivering.
Yeah, because they couldn't stop a beach ball, but yeah.
Right. But oh my goodness, like the numbers this kid put up with the opportunity, he just kept putting them up.
Yeah.
He just kept putting them up. So he's unbelievable. He was amazing to me. So I don't know. Williams will probably be picked first, but I think he should be picked second. And I think May is a little bit overhyped personally. We've seen a lot of players out of North Carolina not do as well. So I'm on the Jaden Daniels train personally. So
I agree with Nate on that. I just don't like Caleb Williams. I don't like his character. I think he's and maybe the media blows it up. You know, I'm attacking a guy that his athletic ability is times 10 what the hell I was in, when I was doing sports and shit. But I mean, I just don't like, if the Bears pick me, he's basically saying how things are going. Motherfucker, you haven't even took a snap in the NFL. No one owes you shit. Okay, yeah, you did well at USC, but the world don't owe you nothing.
Correct.
Get all the NIL deals. One guy, Drew May, I like him. Am I saying his name right?
Drake May.
Drake
May. I apologize. Drake May. I'm thinking of Drew. My bad. Drake May. I just like his I like his dimensions, man. 6'4", 230. Kind of gives me a little Ben vibe there.
Yeah, he's big.
Well, you know who else from North Carolina had good dimensions?
Well, he doesn't shit himself in the pocket. I got to give him that. I mean, it's
Not in college.
Not in college, but I don't know. I don't like Kate. I hope he's slighted, Williams. I hope he gets fucking bounced all the way to 10. I don't.
He won't.
So I say the field.
You're saying the field.
I think we've been down this path. I think he's going to be the next Jamarcus Russell.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Wow, Jesus!
Not in laziness, but I think he's just going to make some stupid shit.
The Bears are on a better path as an organization than the Raiders were when they drafted Jamarcus Russell. You got to factor that in too, man.
Well,
like I know how Eberflus hasn't had the greatest success as a head coach, but they did pretty good this past year. I believe they went 7-10 when they started out the season like 2-6 or something like that. Came on strong at the end.
Right.
Anyway. I mean, could he be a bust? Yeah, sure. Is he going to be Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf? No. Hell no.
We'll see.
No, I don't think so. But
Zach Wilson's in that category now, I think.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we've talked about that plenty. Yes.
I got to see him on an NFL field. That's all.
Yeah.
I'll
take. I agree with Nate. It shouldn't be Williams, but it probably will be.
Okay.
So I'll take that.
Sorry for the long-winded there, but
all good. And another kind of field or this person question.
Yeah.
First coach fired, whoever the Panthers hire as head coach or the field?
The field. If Tepper does this again,
third year in a row it would be that he fired a coach midseason.
If they do this again, I think the NFL might have to say something.
That's what I'm saying.
Come on.
Right.
Wasting a lot of money. A lot of dead money.
Well, he's got plenty of it. He's a second.
I'm aware he's got plenty. He's got enough to make a $300,000 fine because he threw beer on some Jags fans look like pennies. So, yeah, he's got money.
But no, I think that they made a hire today for their GM who loves Panthers. The guy, I forget his name. He's a former Panther. He's been in the NFL business for, a decade plus. I think he's going to truly help out Tepper and be like, look, you cannot make these rash decisions like this. Fine, you did it twice in a row, but you have to give our next chance, please, because our team is not there. It doesn't matter what we do. Our team is not winning this next year. We're playing in a division with the Saints that should be better. The Falcons are going to be better. I don't like they're going to probably get Bill Belichick or worth it. Better than Arthur Smith.
I was going to say better than Mr. FedEx. Yeah.
Yeah, and Mr. Logistics. So we're going to possibly see a better, or very on par team with the Buccaneers if they bring back Baker. They're a pretty good team. Great defense. Decent offense. Good offensive line. And then them. So, like, even in your own division, the division should be better. And the NFC is going to be better, I think. Detroit will be good. Packers will be good. San Fran should be good. The Eagles should still be good. The Cowboys should still be good. The Giants should be better. I mean, they're not going to – so, like, it should be the field. But if this idiot does this again, that somebody needs to examine him. They need to – we keep hearing the stuff with Brown and Chandler Jones. Tepper should be the next one they check because, come on, think about it. Give a guy a chance.
Yeah,
pretty much. You're treating him like it's a summer internship. You get 3 months, then you're fired. I mean, come on, give him a damn chance. This guy you're paying benefits, by the way. That person you didn't for 3 months. So give him a damn chance, Tepper, you idiot.
Right. Right. I hope the field too. If he does that again, Nate, I know there's a name that we don't speak of on this show, but he will be at that level for me.
Oh,
if he does that.
That dude's crept up fast.
Yes.
Taking 3 years to get there. I mean, what the crap, man?
And to call in the question in the NFL, I want to know how that's a good work environment, because I'm going to tell you right now, if he's firing you that quick, he ain't talking too kindly to you throughout the season. There's no goddamn way.
No.
I
But
think
I mean, if he does this again, he might as well go coach next year. I mean, or the year after that. Just you coach the team. You coach it. You run it. You do the concession. You cook the hot dogs. You park the cars. Like, just do it yourself then.
Right.
Dinkberry, like,
yeah.
Come on.
They need to check his emails, because I think there's some shit in there that could be called into question.
How many creams do you like in your coffee, sir? Is what.
Right.
No, it better be. It better be the field.
It better
and
be.
I am picking the field. It better be the field. And I don't think I have to remind people, because I feel like I've said it 1,000 times on this show. The Panthers have had more head coaches in the last 2 years than the Steelers have had since my dad was born.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, how bad does it get?
And
like I said, you got him throwing beer on fans. He's
talk about a
in that
demise.
case.
You got to talk about a demise, though, Trevor. For fuck's sake, you had one of the freakish athlete ever at your quarterback position, and then you fast forward 7-8 years, and it is just a fucking dumpster fire. And you got a guy that's trying to play, king, and has. I don't think he has any idea the operations of a fucking team.
He doesn't.
He's not a football guy.
No.
He is not a football guy. He is. I always like to draw this difference with Bob Nutting and, with pretty much any other owner in the MLB.
Right.
There's such a thing as an owner, and then there's such a thing as a businessman. David Tepper is a businessman who just happens to be an owner. I know legally, I know on his tax documents it says he's an owner. He's not an owner. He's not a football guy. He's a businessman that can hire and fire people at will because he has the money to do so.
And if you don't,
he ruins lives. He disrupts his workplace.
Right.
I just hope it doesn't rise to the level of the person that you didn't name earlier, Drew. I hope nothing like that's going on behind the scenes here. I hope what we're seeing on the surface here is it.
Right.
But still, what we're seeing on the surface here, 2 head coaches fired last 2 years. And then you had David Wilkes almost get you to the playoffs, and you don't bring him back. Instead, you go and hire Frank Reich and you fire him after 11 games.
Right.
And then you try to
you drafted the wrong quarterback for him.
Yeah, and then you try to throw the ball 50 times a game instead of running.
Yes.
There it is right there.
Yes. Chuba Hubbard had a solid year last year.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He had a decent year.
Yeah.
And then you come forward here, like you said, you're trying to throw the ball left and right with an undersized rookie quarterback, by the way. You're trying to make this the air raid offense. It's not going to work.
No.
With the worst receiving core ever and an offensive line that is not built for pass protection.
No offense to Adam Thielen, because I love Adam Thielen. He's, he if we were playing the white versus black game, Rashard Mendenhall style, he would be a good addition to the team for our side. You know what I mean? But when he's your best receiver at the stage he is in his career, it's pretty abysmal.
Yeah.
That's a pretty abysmal state to have your offense in.
Right.
It's a shame.
And here's the thing. If you don't fucking trust the coach and you don't trust the GM, but you're going to hire these guys, just how about getting an advisor for your team? You're the owner. Get a guy that advises.
I would imagine he has advisors. He just doesn't listen to them because he's a stubborn POS.
Then that's a dumpster fire. I mean,
well, yes, we talk. I always talk about it in my job. Tone at the top. And thankfully, the tone at the top in my organization right now is good.
Right.
Pretty good.
Right.
The tone at the top in the Panthers organization. Oh boy.
I mean.
Oh boy. I don't even.
Sorry, I kept feeding the fire there, Trevor.
No, that's okay. No, I think I'm out of breath just talking about it. I didn't want to go on that far with it, but I brought up a sensitive subject, and I know we're probably going to be talking about it for a while here, if anything else comes out of that organization in the off season. So You're on mute, Nate. I can see what you said, but I didn't hear you.
It's okay.
I had to cough and I forgot to unmute myself. Sorry, everybody.
That's all right.
I'm interrupting this program, trying to do so a second time to let you know that Joel Embiid set the 76ers record for points tonight in a game with 70.
What?
8 of
What?
9. 8 of 9 from behind the arc.
Wow.
And I think they destroyed the Spurs.
They only won by 10.
Well, might have let him rest at the end, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Let me verify that. I might need a towel.
Oh boy.
70 and 18. Hey, 21 of 23 from the free throw line. 24 of 41 from the field.
Damn.
Oh.
And then
Well, I gotta. As soon as I get off this, I'm watching that game back.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. I taped it. It's on YouTube TV. I'm going to watch it right after this.
I think 8 and 9 from 3 too.
Wow.
Embiid?
Yeah.
No, I see 1 of 2 in the box score.
I must have misread something.
Might have been another person that was. No, nobody else was 8 of 9. I'm not sure.
I apologize. I misread it. Karl Anthony Towns, he has 8 of 9 from 3.
Oh.
And
Oh.
he scored 44 in the first half.
Oh, God.
Big night here, boys.
Yeah.
Drew, we're not doing this on Monday anymore.
No, we'll move it.
I'm just kidding.
So, shout out to
I
those.
apologize.
Jesus. Yeah.
I was turned to the NBA. I'll tell you that. Some of the big men in this league right now are pretty dangerous.
Nuts.
Right.
Weird transition, I guess, back to the NFL here, but we do have some breaking news here before we move on to Pick'ems. Tennessee Titans looking to finalize a deal with Cincinnati Bengals OC Brian Callahan. It's becoming more and more official as time goes on here. It was rumored throughout the day that they would hire him, but Titans going to get an offensive mind to run the show in Tennessee.
Okay.
Quite the opposite, I would imagine, opposite philosophy, opposite approach than the defensive approach from Vrabel. Very interesting there.
Mm-hmm.
Any immediate reactions to that before we get into Pick'em? Or
Yeah, that's a good hire. He's been rumored to be a head coach for a few years now. I think getting an offensive head coach is exactly what that team needed. I think they're ready to leave this era of football behind. They had a good stretch.
That's fair. Yeah.
Eric Henry ran all over the place for 5, 6, 7 years. His time is kind of closing down. I think he could be a good system, duo back. He's got something to offer still, but I just think he lost a step, unfortunately. Big guy, a lot of shots on his body. 30 years old now in the NFL as a running back. Pretty old. But yeah, I think they got to build this offense up. They don't score enough points. They got a young quarterback with a lot of potential. They're going to get Tannehill off the books this year. They got a Spears, who's a good running back that can do some dynamic stuff in the run and pass game.
That's good.
And they got an all right receiving core. They got Hopkins for another year, and a couple other guys that stepped up this season. So I think it was the right move. So we'll see how they do. Pretty tough division though. So
now it is. Yeah.
This is a league you got to score points to win. They just weren't scoring enough to win. So it was good they went and got an offensive coach.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I'm with you, Nate. You pretty much said all that. You always say all that needs to be said about a situation, and I appreciate that. You make our jobs very easy.
Just to add to Nate's points, you got youth now. You gotta stop weighing off on the defensive side of the ball. Let's bring some juice in, and I think fuck. I mean, look what he did with Burrow. I'm not saying Levis is going to be Burrow.
Levis is good though. He's very good. He's got a higher ceiling than anyone anticipated, I believe.
Yeah, he's got a big arm, and he's athletic enough to run it. He's
Yes.
just got to have
And he knows how to slide when he has to.
Yeah,
Right.
they got to get him some protection and a little bit more weight
Yep.
outside, and a little bit of the defense has to be a little better. But
They got some decent weapons at the receiver spots as well. I believe Hop will be back, right? And then you got Okonkwo, who's a developing tight end in this league. I think he could be a top 10 tight end next year, Okonkwo. He might have already been this year, honestly.
Yeah, started out slow, but he got hot towards. So
Yeah. All right, boys, over to Pick'em now for the beautiful people out there, betting needs and everything. This is thanks to FanDuel Sportsbook. That's the only site that I bet on. So Chiefs and Ravens here. We got a spread at 3.5. Ravens are favored by not much. Over under is 44.5.
That's a tricky number on the spread too, Drew. 3.5. I'm seeing. That's a tricky number.
Yep.
I don't like that.
I'm going to make everybody fucking sick. Going Chiefs. And I see a spread. I'm not going 3.5. I'm going to go 2. Dead set on 2. I don't know why, but I'm going 2. And over and under. I'm going under. I'm going to go under on that. This is the first time I've said over and under, but I might go under 44.5.
I got to check the weather for that game too, see if it's going to be sloppy or not.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that right now. 49 degrees and cloudy, so not too bad.
No.
Oh, jeez. God, if the sports books wanted to screw with my head, mission accomplished.
Wait, fuck that. I'm going over 44.5.
You're going over?
I'm going to say it's going to be 27. Fuck, then that fucks up my spread. You just go, boys. It's going to be in the 20s. It's going to be in the 20s, though. Mid-20s, I'd say. Yep.
Fair enough.
Very close. Very close.
Nate, do you have a pick? Or
yeah, I'm going to go Ravens. I think they're due. It's at home. The Super Bowl logo is purple and red. And last year, it was green and it was red. And the year before that, it was orange and blue. So, I don't know. And also on television, if you scrolled far enough to the Super Bowl, some of these networks have released that the Chiefs are playing the Ravens. So I'm going with
you mean that the Niners are playing the Ravens?
Or I'm sorry. The Niners are playing the Ravens.
Yeah.
I apologize. Yeah.
No worries.
With the logos being those colors, just like they've been the previous 2 years, and the script was released, I'm going with that. Shady McCoy said it, so it's got to be true, right?
Right.
Correct.
So even if he is a Pitt guy, but I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I think they're due. They were the best team in the NFL this year. Beat the 49ers, destroyed some teams along the way, just blew out the Texans. So I'm going Ravens. I think they're gonna win it. They're gonna knock off Mahomes finally.
I'm sorry, I just threw up in my mouth about what I'm about to say here. I'm picking the Ratbirds as well. See, I almost threw up in my mouth again. I don't even know if I can get through an analysis on this, but I'll do my damnedest. But no, I think Lamar's going to make a couple of big plays, and I think he's going to have over 100 rushing yards again. I think it's going to happen. Like I said, he's going to have that one real long run. I think he's going to break loose in a key play in the second half. Ravens are going to take in a close one. I don't doubt that this game could be inside of 3.5, though.
Yeah.
I'm still contemplating taking that spread. I want to see how that line moves as we get closer to the game.
Yep.
But no, as of now, I'll take Ravens. I'll probably go alt spread 2.5 on that one because that game could easily come down to a Justin Tucker or honestly a Harrison Butker field goal as well. I wouldn't be too surprised with that, with the caliber of defenses that we have in play here and with the styles of play that we have. Seemingly run first offenses, which is weird to say for Kansas City, but obviously Baltimore, we know how their system operates with Harbaugh at the helm. So
Yeah. Okay. And then we got the Lions and 49ers. Oh, boy, spread 7. 49ers are favored right now, boys, and over-unders 50.5. Going to throw a curveball. I saw a little tint of blue in that purple. Going Lions. And I'm taking the spread at 3, favoring the Lions.
Ooh.
Over and under. I'm not touching over and under.
That's flipping the line by a whole 10 points. I like it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'd go under. I haven't picked the Lions to win a playoff game. It doesn't start today. Sorry. I'm going 49ers. I personally think they're the best team in football. I say it every week, I think. And
Yeah.
but I'm not changing my narrative, so I'm going 49ers.
I got you.
Nate, you kind of stole my thunder. Not going to lie, with the Super Bowl logo, I was going to use that, but I figured someone else was going to use it too. And if we want it to come true, the favorites, the number 1 seeds, have to win their respective conference championship games. I'll take the Niners as well. It's at home, Santa Clara, and they're not going to have 2 off games in a row. I'll just say that much. Rarely does it happen for the modern Niners. And I don't see that happening in the NFC Championship game here. I will take Detroit to cover that, though. I think it'll be fairly close going into the fourth quarter, or the Niners could be ahead. And Detroit, they were a second-half team last week, scored a ton of points in the second half, so they could make a bit of a comeback and start to threaten. But ultimately, I'll take the Niners to win it. And I'll also throw in McCaffrey to have a couple touchdowns and Kittle's over on his receiving yards, which I believe it's around 50.
Yeah.
Let me verify that real quick for y'all.
50, I'd go over too. They don't stop.
Ooh. It is 59.5, but I would probably still take that, honestly.
All it takes for him is 3 catches or so.
That is true, and he can break tackles with the best of them. I don't see Detroit, their secondary, being able to bring him down with just one guy. No. In very few scenarios do I see that happening. So I'll take over on George Kittle's yards, McCaffrey to score twice. But like I said, Detroit probably to cover. It's a whole 7-point spread, and with that, Goff over on his passing yards, which stands at 255.5. I think he'll do it out of necessity, not because they're that good that they can beat the Niners in the pass game.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, wait till Saturday. All you wonderful people out there. Anything else, boys, before we
wait till Sunday. Both games are Sunday.
Oh, sorry. Wait till Sunday.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Wait till Sunday.
And you got a little bit of extra time to sleep in after whatever it is that you feel like doing on Saturday. First game starts at 3, so
Right. No, I agree. Sorry, I'm yawning. Jesus Christ. Didn't have enough.
All good, brother.
But anything else, Nate? Sure.
No, I'm good, man. Looking forward to these championship games. I think they should be great. Really happy for the city of Detroit. Been a long time. This if they win this game, this will be their first appearance in the Super Bowl. So, I certainly want to win money. I've put a couple dollars on 49ers, but nothing too crazy. But the kind-hearted person that I try to be towards some of these fan bases, because mine have been, my NFL team has been so good. I would be ecstatic for. I also have an uncle who is in his 80s, and when he was growing up as a young man, that team was amazing. the Lions were an incredible franchise. They won the NFL championship a bunch of times when he was a kid. And he used to listen to him on the radio, and, he's had so many disappointments. Calvin Johnson retiring early, Barry Sanders retiring early, losing to the Cowboys a bunch, losing those 2 years with Stafford. To see him, so happy, and to think about him, seeing a Super Bowl at his age for his team would be pretty heartwarming for me, for my personal life. So I almost have a sliver of hope that they pull this thing off, even if I have picked against him all 3 times.
Right.
Yeah, it's just been great to see him be that cheerful. He's not a young man. To see him kind of jumping up and down like a little kid, that excited, has been pretty awesome. So yeah. that I'm holding out hope that maybe they'll pull the upset of the year for sure. So
yeah.
This is definitely one where my heart is with the Lions.
Yes.
But I do bet with my brain, and my brain says Niners.
Right.
My heart's been with the Lions the whole season, and Nate, you almost made me shed a tear there. I'm kind of rooting for the Lions now. So this is another scenario where I might get either joy or money. So
yeah,
either way.
Right.
And the AFC Championship game is just almost worst case scenario.
Like I said, both planes, I want them to break down before they take off and declare the NFC winner champion. I'd like that.
Let the Bills go be the representative.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's fine. That works by default.
Right. No, but exciting weekend here. Make sure next Tuesday we'll be touching on, Super Bowl matchup, all things going on, more NBA kind of conversation because we're getting towards that point. Throw in some college basketball as well. So if you're looking for betting advice towards the Super Bowl, we'll be here. I know there's a week gap there, right, fellas?
Yeah.
Just we'll test the waters here, see what's going on, see what we like, what we don't like. But hopefully, goddamn it, it's the Lions for all those fans out there, because the city of Detroit, they deserve it.
100%.
But I appreciate you boys. Another episode here, another good episode. We appreciate all the viewers out there, all the subscribers, all the commenters. We had a flavorful commenting section tonight. We enjoyed it. Share with a friend or family member or your grandma, whoever the hell you want to share this podcast with. Share it with them. We always welcome any conversation in the comments, and we will try to answer your question or write a comment at least. So have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe out there. God bless. This is another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys. All gas, no breaks. And we'll be back next Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Love all you beautiful people.